Hey guys, it's me again. Just a brief rant this morning, and we all know what's going on in Israel and Iran. And as of right now, you may have heard about the ceasefire that I guess Trump more or less ordered or administered between Israel and Iran, and you know nobody really knows what's going on behind that. Everybody thinks it's weird. It's something seems off about it. It's very inconclusive, and I know people are or were looking for a decisive victory for Israel. It's like everything was in place, and yes, it seemed like Israel was well on its way to just putting the nail in the coffin. But the reality is, guys, Iran has what I'd like to call biblical plot armor. Iran's not going anywhere. It's going to be there for the Ezekiel war. And I know that everybody was also hoping for a regime change. And the thing of it is, guys, is I'm speaking now to believers, those who truly belong to the Lord. We do not need to look for a worldly deliverance. And I know it's really Israel, not the United States, but as believers, we root for God's chosen people. I get that. But the harsh reality is, the time of Jacob's trouble is very, very near. And Iran will be the least that Israel would have to worry about. Because we all know what happens during the Great Tribulation, the time of Jacob's trouble. Yes, it affects the whole world, but ultimately it's the way the Lord will deal with Israel as a nation. And we know that 2/3 of Israel will perish during the Great Tribulation. And, our whole thing in this Iran-Israel war, well, we're just really spectators. As believers, we don't need to be totally disappointed of what Trump's doing. Our hope is not in Trump. I've been saying that for the longest time. And if anything, this just goes to prove what I've also been saying for the longest time, which is that this is all theater in the grandest scale. And they're all on the same side. I'm talking about all the elites. Maybe not so much Israel, I don't know, but the guys who seem to be calling the shots, ultimately they're all just paving the way for the rule of the Antichrist. And we, the common people, the little people, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. We really don't. The moves don't make sense. And when I say theater, it truly is theater. We just can't fathom how deep this theater goes and how far they're willing to go to accomplish what they're trying to convince us is really going on. And sometimes it's just confusion like what we're seeing now. But, I know I'm totally ranting on this video, but we just need to not get distracted with what's going on, because it's really virtually impossible to know the actual truth as far as, political stuff is concerned. These wars. What we do care about is there are wars and rumors of wars. And that's what we really need to keep our eye on. And Israel. It truly is all about Israel when it comes to prophecy. It is our greatest gauge of knowing just how close we are to the rapture, because really that's what we care about as the bride of Christ. We're not going to stick around for the Great Tribulation. We're not going to be here. And with all this craziness happening all around us, it's just part of the birth pangs. And, a lot of us have been saying the rapture is close for the past 5 years. And obviously it hasn't happened yet. But the fact is, all these birth pangs have not slowed down either. There's way more than enough time for these things to have calmed down and slowed down and settled, and for some sort of normalcy to have returned. But it has not. It's just ramping up. Things are getting worse. Wars are getting more intense. And that's all good. That's good for us. We need to look past the confusion. I know we're looking for a decisive victory for God's chosen people. They're not going to get it. They're really not. And at some point, Israel will be completely alone with no allies. That's how it's got to be for the Ezekiel war, which I don't know if it's going to happen before the rapture or after the rapture. A lot of the smart people say it's going to happen sometime after the rapture. I tend to agree with that. But just keep looking up, guys. Do not be discouraged by what's happening in the Middle East. This is not a boxing match. It's not the Super Bowl. This is not for bragging rights, so we can tweet or post and mock the other team or cheer our team, quote unquote. It's not about that at all. The Lord will deal with Israel, and the Lord will deal with Israel's enemies. And all we need to care about as the bride of Christ is our escape from the soon coming great tribulation. So don't get caught up in the smoke. Don't fall for the distraction. Our goal should remain the same, and that is to look for His glorious appearing. And as I've been saying for over 2 years now, we need to go directly to the Lord and ask Him for that revelation, the revelation of when the rapture is going to be, the day and the hour. And as I've been saying for forever, nobody knows the day and the hour is not talking about the rapture. And if we truly know the Lord, if we knew His character, we know that it is His style, His MO, to let His people know what's going on, what's going to happen. He let Noah know when the flood was going to happen. He let Lot know when judgment was going to fall upon Sodom and Gomorrah. Elijah knew when he was going to get raptured. That whole chariot thing. He knew about that. Everybody did. And it'll be totally way out of character for the Lord to not let His bride know when the rapture is going to be. We will know before it happens. And I believe that revelation belongs to the generation that's going to see the rapture while we still remain. And I believe we are that generation. And I believe we are so close. And I believe we just need to keep asking the Lord for that revelation. And it'll be the biggest blessing we'll ever have in this life. And just knowing with certainty, anticipating with 100% certainty that the rapture is going to happen at a specific time. That'll just be like the best thing ever. And, the Lord likes to make a grand entrance. And the rapture is like the biggest event this side of the cross and the resurrection. And you can bet that the Lord's going to make that as grand as possible. Not just the rapture itself, but just knowing when that will be. It'll be such a glorious moment to finally know. So keep looking up, guys. We will know that day and the hour. That's really my main message as always. I think that is my calling for the last 2 or 3 years, and I'm a broken record. If you watch any of my other videos, I say the same thing over and over again, but I don't think I have too many repeat viewers, so a lot of you guys are seeing this video probably for the first time or watching my video for the very first time. So it doesn't matter if I've said the same message, 30, 40, 50 times already, you know. Just keep looking up, guys. Our redemption is near, and I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully there won't be a next time.